The Western Development Museum is a series of museums based here in Saskatchewan that focuses around the history of Western Canada, focusing on Saskatchewan. The Western Development Museum was founded in 1949, but this location was opened in 1976.
This really came out of the Second World War years. A lot of the things that were being scrapped for the war effort, like farm equipment, locomotives, all kinds of things made of metal, were disappearing, and people were concerned that this part of our history would be lost. At that time, a lot of folks kind of got to their heads together and they started to collect these things. Eventually, the collection became so big that it got divided up and kind of themed into the 4 different locations. And here in Moose Jaw, we celebrate the transportation history of our province in Saskatchewan.
There's a variety of different exhibits at the museum. Again, we're focused primarily on transportations.
We have classy cars, where many of these vehicles have been restored to near factory showroom condition.
They go from early 1900s through to 1960s.
Our aviation gallery showcases a number of planes that were from the early days of our province. The focus of the aviation gallery, however, is the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan exhibit, and this features a number of planes from the Second World War years, specifically in Moose Jaw in the southern Saskatchewan, and it really talks about how pilots were trained in different roles before being posted overseas. One of my favorite pieces in our aviation gallery is the Vickers Vedette replica. And the interesting thing about these boats in particular is that they look like a boat on the bottom. Sometimes they were actually called a plane boat or a boat plane. Our vintage aircraft restorers group spent over 7 years building from scratch the Vickers Vedette replica that we have here in Moose Jaw. We also have our land gallery, which contains a number of different vehicles, things that you can drive, things that you can ride on. We've even got a hovercraft, which leads me into our water gallery.
The water gallery is a variety of different boats, from hand-built small boats to a large ferry.
We think Saskatchewan is just a prairie province, but we actually have over 100,000 lakes and river systems, so water transportation was also a very important part of our province's past. We're also very honored to be the home of the Snowbirds Gallery, which is something, again, unique to Moose Jaw. Moose Jaw has 15 Wing just south of our city, which is the home base of the Snowbirds organization. And one of the final pieces of our wonderful exhibit space here is the 100 Years of Saskatchewan History. It includes a timeline from 1905 through 2005 and showcases a number of small photos, vignettes of small artifacts, and really tells the story year by year of what happened in our province.
Some of the artifacts do have interesting stories. One that I'm really fond of is Blowtorch, the gas-powered horse. It's a full-size replica of a horse that was ridden in the parades. It's actually gas-powered, as opposed to powered naturally as a horse would be under its own locomotion. It's really, really unique.
One of the most interesting stories I think about our artifacts here is the story of our 1913 steam locomotive. It was a very operable machine back in the day, and then it spent a number of years downtown Moose Jaw in Crescent Park. When this museum was being built in the mid-70s, they actually brought that locomotive up Main Street Hill on a specially designed truck. The building itself here wasn't quite finished yet. The stories I've heard is that it came in through one of the walls and that the building was built around it afterwards to kind of seal it all in. It is probably our most popular artifact. You can go inside of it and you can kind of get a feel for what it would have been like to have been an engineer, almost 100 years ago. Many of the artifacts that are in the collection of the Western Development Museum originally came in as donations.
Sometimes they feel that the items are going to be preserved for history in a better way by being protected by the museum, rather than either being used, damaged, possibly crashed in an accident being driven, or for example, rotting away on somebody's farm, as a lot of the old cars are.
I think it's important to preserve these pieces and all these artifacts and stories, because if we don't do that, they're going to be lost. In the short span of a couple of generations, they can disappear from memory.
We don't want these items to be lost, and we want to be able to showcase the history of Saskatchewan.
The story is the important part, and that's one of our jobs here as the museum, is telling the story of the Saskatchewan people. We offer a number of different events and programs and activities throughout the year at the Western Development Museum Moose Jaw. These include simple things like Seek and Finds for families to do. We have a different one every month here, and we also have a number of school programs that are curriculum connected, and these really encourage students to come out and explore history firsthand. Quite often these programs are supported by our wonderful volunteers who really bring that history to life. That could be anything from churning butter or making old-fashioned ice cream, demonstrating blacksmithing in our blacksmith shop. We also have a number of public programs programs throughout the year too. We just had the 14th annual Brixpo event here at the WDM Moose Jaw, and this is in partnership with the Saskatchewan Lego Users Group. It's a fantastic way that they can kind of showcase their creativity. You'll see all kinds of different builds that come out of the creators' minds. Nothing is done with instructions or out of a box. These are all original creations, and they're absolutely fantastic. It really, again, feeds back into that idea of innovation and exploration. Every summer, visitors have the opportunity to ride on Saskatchewan's only operating steam locomotive. It's a short line track that runs around the museum grounds, basically experience what steam travel would have been like 100 years ago.
The community has always supported the Western Development Museum, both here and our other locations, and I think that it's really provided access to history to the community in a way that they might not otherwise get.
This starts sometimes with a student's first field trip, and sometimes it's at the WDM, and I love to see those little light bulb moments when they come to our museum for the first time and they're impressed with something.
The kids love coming to the museum, and it's a unique place for the community to get to explore. If you're ever in Moose Jaw, I'd like to invite you to come and visit us at the Western Development Museum at 50 Diefenbaker Place, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
And you can find out more on our website, which is wdm.ca, or follow us on social media. We have a WDM Moose Jaw Facebook page, and there's also Instagram. We've got all kinds of really cool things to check out for all ages and backgrounds, and we'd sure love to see you here.
There's a variety of different displays, and I think that everyone's going to find something that they're really excited about when they walk through the museum.
If you have program ideas you'd like to see on maxTV Local, let us know at sasktel.com/local.